Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm really happy you are here today. Before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss our next story. Today's topic is full of adventure, mystery, and history. Are you ready to travel back in time? Today, we are going to explore the history of the Silk Road. This was not just one road, but a network, a group of many connected routes. These routes linked the East and the West for hundreds of years. Why is it so interesting? Because it was not only about trade, but also about culture, ideas, and people. Can you imagine a road where goods, languages, and even beliefs travel together? Let's begin our journey. The story of the Silk Road starts more than 2,000 years ago. At that time, there were powerful empires in Asia and Europe. In China, there was the Han dynasty. They wanted to trade goods with lands far away. But the journey was not easy. It was long, dangerous, and full of unknown places. So what exactly was the Silk Road? The name, Silk Road, comes from silk, a soft and shiny fabric made in China. Silk was very valuable, which means it was rare and expensive. People in the West loved it. But the Silk Road was not only about silk. Traders also carried spices, gold, silver, tea, and even paper. Can you imagine walking for months or even years just to sell goods? That is exactly what traders did. They traveled in groups called caravans. A caravan is a group of people traveling together for safety. They used camels, often called the ships of the desert, because camels could walk long distances without water. The journey across the Silk Road was not easy at all. There were huge deserts like the Gobi Desert. There were tall mountains like the Himalayas. There were also thieves, storms, and extreme weather. Sometimes it was very hot, and sometimes very cold. Still, people continued to travel. Why? Because the rewards were great. Let's take a moment and imagine this. You are a trader walking in a long line of camels. The wind is strong, and sand is in the air. You are tired, but you know that at the end of the journey, you will reach a busy city full of life. Would you continue, or would you give up? One of the most famous travelers of the Silk Road was Marco Polo. He was a young man from Europe who traveled all the way to China. His journey took many years. When he returned home, he told stories about the rich cities, beautiful palaces, and strange customs he saw. At first, many people did not believe him. But his stories made others curious about the East. The Silk Road was not just about goods. It was also about ideas. For example, Buddhism, a religion that started in India, traveled to China through the Silk Road. This shows how beliefs and cultures moved from one place to another. In simple words, the Silk Road was like a bridge between different worlds. Another important thing that traveled on the Silk Road was knowledge. Paper, for example, was invented in China. Later, it spread to other parts of the world. This helped people write, read, and share ideas more easily. Can you imagine a world without paper? Cities along the Silk Road became very important. These cities were like resting places for traders. They were full of markets, food, and people from different cultures. You could hear many languages and see different styles of clothing. It was like a mix of the whole world in one place. But not everything about the Silk Road was good. Diseases also spread along these routes. One famous example is the Black Death, a deadly disease that spread across continents. This reminds us that when people and goods travel, problems can travel too. Over time, the Silk Road began to change. New sea routes were discovered. Ships became faster and safer. Traders started using the ocean instead of land. Slowly, the Silk Road became less important. However, its impact, the strong effect it had on the world, remained. It connected people, shared knowledge, and built relationships between different cultures. Even today, we can see its influence in food, language, and traditions. Let's think about this for a moment. What if the Silk Road never existed? Would the world be the same? Would cultures be as connected as they are today? Probably not. Today, the idea of the Silk Road still exists. Some countries are working on new projects to connect regions through trade and transport. This shows that the spirit of the Silk Road is still alive. Now, let's connect this story to your English learning. When you learn English, you are also building a bridge. You are connecting with people from different cultures. You are sharing ideas and understanding the world better. Just like the Silk Road connected East and West, language connects people. Try to remember some key words from today's story. Trade means buying and selling goods. Caravan is a group of travelers. Route means a path or way. When you repeat these words, you make them part of your vocabulary. Also, notice how we used questions like, "Can you imagine?" or "Do you know why?" These are called rhetorical questions. They are used to make the listener think and stay engaged. You can use them in your own speaking to sound more natural. As we come to the end of our journey, think about the brave traders, the long roads, and the exchange of cultures. The Silk Road was more than just a path. It was a story of connection, courage, and curiosity. Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. Also, leave a comment and tell me, would you travel the Silk Road if you had the chance?